Okay, so you've been learning Python. You've probably got the basics down, maybe you've even built a couple of small things, and now you're sitting there thinking, all right, what's next? If your goal is to actually turn this into a career, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
I mean, this is the real question, right? It's the one everyone asks. You've put in the work, you get the syntax, but that path from learning Python to actually earning a living with it, well, it can feel a little foggy. So how do you actually bridge that gap?
That's what we're going to do today. We're going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and give you a clear, practical roadmap. These are the real, actionable steps that actually get people hired. No shortcuts, just the stuff that works.
Now, we're going to break this whole journey down into a few manageable pieces. And the first part, it's all about building a rock-solid foundation. Seriously, if you get these first few stages right, everything that comes after becomes so much easier.
So here's the whole game plan at a glance. 6 stages. First, we master the fundamentals. Then, we learn an absolutely essential tool called Git. Third, and this is huge, we choose a specific path. Then it's all about building projects, prepping for interviews, and finally, applying for jobs the smart way. Let's kick things off with stage 1.
Look, before you can build anything cool, you have to know your tools inside and out. This is your foundation. We're talking variables, loops, functions, lists, the absolute core of the language. And here's the real goal. You need to get to a point where you can write code from your own brain without just copying and pasting from a tutorial. That's when you know you've got it.
All right, next up, and listen, this one is completely non-negotiable. You have to learn Git and GitHub. This is how the entire software world keeps track of code, it's how teams collaborate, it's how you save your work, it's just not optional in the professional world.
And this really gets to the heart of it. A certificate is fine, but you know what a hiring manager really wants to see? They want to see that you can actually build stuff. Your GitHub profile, filled with your projects, becomes the single most powerful resume you could ever have. It's real, tangible proof of what you can do.
Now we've come to a really critical decision point. It is so easy to fall into the trap of trying to learn a little bit of everything. A little web development, a little data science, but that's a mistake. To get hired, you need to specialize. You have to pick one path and decide to go deep on it. So, what are the main options?
Well, here are the big 4. If you're into building websites and apps, you're looking at web development with tools like Flask or Django. If you love numbers and finding patterns, you've got data analytics with libraries like Pandas and NumPy. Then there's machine learning, starting with scikit-learn. Or maybe you just like making the computer do boring tasks for you. That's automation. Just pick the one that sounds the most exciting to you.
And this is why we choose. Depth always beats breadth. Think about it from a company's perspective. They would much rather hire someone who is an expert in, say, Django, than someone who kind of knows a little bit about Django and a little about Pandas and a little about machine learning. Become the go-to person for one thing first.
Okay, so you've chosen your path. You're going deep. Now it's time to prove it. This next phase is all about creating the actual evidence that's going to get you noticed by employers.
Knowing the theory is great, but projects are proof. You need to build 3 to 5 serious, substantial projects in your chosen specialty. And please, don't just dump the code online. A professional project needs a clear README file explaining what it is. It needs screenshots so people can see what it does. And of course, it all has to live on your GitHub. Once you've got a solid portfolio of projects, you're ready to start prepping for the technical interview. And trust me, this is a skill all on its own. It's something you have to practice.
So, what do you practice? You'll definitely need to brush up on those core Python concepts again. You'll need to understand the basics of object-oriented programming, which is just a way of structuring your code, and you got to know your basic data structures. But more than anything, you have to practice solving problems on sites like LeetCode. The goal isn't to become some coding champion, it's just to get comfortable thinking through problems on your feet.
All right, you've built the skills, you have the projects, and you're ready for interviews. We are now in the final stretch, the job hunt itself. And I'm going to let you in on a really important secret about what actually gets you hired.
The key word here is smart. Don't just spam your resume out to hundreds of companies. That's a losing game. Instead, take the time to really polish your LinkedIn profile. Make your GitHub the absolute star of the show. When you apply, talk specifically about the projects you built. And try to connect with people in the industry. Quality over quantity, every single time. And this might be the single most important thing you hear today. Just knowing the Python language by itself is not enough to get you a job.
So if Python alone doesn't do it, what does?
Your projects do, the things you actually built. Your consistency does, the discipline you showed over months of learning and building. And your portfolio, your GitHub does. That complete package is what an employer is actually hiring.
Now, I'm going to show you a number, 90%. That might seem huge, but I want you to see this as incredibly motivating. What does 90% mean? It means that the huge majority of people who start this journey, they give up. They quit. So if you can just stick with it, if you can stay consistent and keep building for just 3 to 6 months, you have already launched yourself into the top 10% of candidates. Your biggest competition isn't everybody else. It's just the little voice in your head telling you to stop.
So let's wrap this all up. Let's talk about how to actually stay the course and avoid the common traps that cause so many people to stumble and fall off the path.
These are the classic mistakes. Don't be the person who jumps from web dev one week to data science the next. Don't fall into what people call tutorial hell, where you just watch videos but never actually build anything yourself. Push everything you do to GitHub, even if you think it's not perfect. And maybe the most important one, stop comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. Focus on your own journey.
And really, that brings us to the final, most powerful message I can leave you with. You don't have to be a genius to do this. You just have to show up. Every single developer you look up to started right where you are. Their secret isn't some crazy brilliance. It's consistency.
So there you have it, the complete, no-hype roadmap to getting a job with Python. You have all the steps. The only thing left to do now is to take the first one. So my only question for you is, what are you going to build first?